The Bob Semple Tank. The worst and most useless tank ever built. The Bob Semple Tank, sometimes referred to as Big Bob, was a light tank designed by New Zealand Minister of Works, Robert Bob Semple, during World War II. Originating out of the need to build military hardware from available materials, the tank was built from corrugated iron on a tractor base. Designed and built during a period of uncertainty in which New Zealand feared having to defend itself from Japanese invasion without external assistance, these tanks were a civilian effort to design and create a means to protect New Zealand. History and development of the Bob Semple Tank. During the Second World War, since New Zealand was in danger of a potential Japanese invasion, the New Zealand Ministry of Defence began looking for a potential tank with which to defend itself. Robert Bob Semple, then the New Zealand Minister of Public Works, saw a photograph of a tractor tank conversion built in the United States. This inspired him to begin the process to design a domestic New Zealand tractor tank conversion, one which would later take his name. The Department of Public Works began to work on the development of an indigenous tractor tank conversion. The tractors that would be used were the Department of Public Works fleet of 81 Caterpillar D8 tractors. In order to fit the armored body on the tractors, a few modifications had to be made. Minor modifications were made to the suspension, the track assembly was lengthened, the driver's controls were moved forward, and extensions were added to allow the fixing of an armored superstructure to the tractor chassis. One prototype conversion was built by June 1940, and by March 1941, a second tank was finished, and both took part in a parade in Christchurch. One was then sent to Wellington and then on to Auckland to promote the war effort. It was paraded there in May 1941. The design and performance problem of the Semple Bob tank. The tank had a very large, rectangular profile with a height of 12 feet. It had a weight of 18 tons. The crew complement was 6 to 8 men, including the driver and 5 machine gunners, with 2 more places available for crew members if wanted. Due to the Bob Semple tank being built on the basis of a tractor, the armor was relatively light. Because armor plates could not be sourced, corrugated manganese plate was used to build a superstructure over the tractor. And this is the reason why, at most, it protected from heavy machine gun or 20mm cannon fire, but even rifle caliber ammunition could penetrate through the machine gun ports. The tractor base also limited the mobility as the driver had to bring the vehicle to a full stop in order to even shift gears. With the heavy weight of 18 tons with the turret mounted, the Bob Semple could only reach a speed of 7.5 miles per hour or about 12 kilometers per hour. But the range was a decent 160 kilometers, thanks to 90 liters of diesel fuel stored in 2 tanks in the front of the hull. Not only did the tractor basis limit the armor and mobility of the Bob Semple, but the vehicle was very tall at 12 feet with the turret mounted. This made it a very large target for enemy fire. Also, it can be seen from video and photographic evidence that the Bob Semple tank did not feature a hatch of any sort on the turret roof. This would mean that the vehicle crew would have a very limited view of their surroundings, and also that the turret crew would have to exit the vehicle through the single rear door, meaning they would have a very hard time escaping the vehicle if it was on fire. These factors, combined with the boxy and ungainly appearance, contributed to a public opinion of ridicule towards the Bob Semple tank, which lasts to the modern day. And that is why Bob Semple often viewed as one of the worst tank ever built in history. At some point, these 2 tanks were officially handed over to the army. Fortunately for New Zealand and Australia, Japan's defeat in the Pacific Front meant that the threat of invasion was over. The tractors were stripped off their armors and returned back to civilian duties. And that is our video today about one of the worst and useless tank ever built in history. Thank you for watching and see you on the next awesome video.